When they started, there were only 5,000 birds left. With the support of conservationists, the brothers helped form the Society for the Protection of Flamingos and eventually the Inagua National Park. The first national park to be created was the Exuma Land and Sea Park. The Exumas are a yachtsman's paradise. In the 1980s, citizens became concerned about the park's declining marine resources due to uncontrolled fishing. Since enforcing a no-take policy in 1986, the Bahamas National Trust has seen the fisheries come back. And now it's once again a haven for divers, yachtsmen, and visitors from all over the world. However, more pressure is being placed on these marine resources. As fish stocks dwindle in other parts of the Bahamas, protecting the marine resources from poachers within the park is important so they can breed and restock the ocean. More than 3/4 of the Bahamas population live on New Providence Island, making it the most densely populated island in the wider Caribbean region. The Bahamas National Trust is undertaking an ambitious campaign to expand its facilities and the parks on New Providence. Eric Carey, the Trust's executive director, explains.
Our goal is to develop these parks into places where Bahamians can bring their families to enjoy nature. We want to provide Bahamians the opportunity to take their families bird watching, kayaking along boardwalks at Harold and Wilson's Pond and Bonefish Pond National Parks and witness the unique nature of the Bahamian natural environment.
One success is that the Bahamas National Trust began a nature program for Bahamas youth called the Discovery Club.
One of the most important values that I've learned from being in the Discovery Club is that it's our responsibility to take care of the environment and that we must take steps to help and protect it.
Conservationists have worked with the Bahamas government to create 25 national parks covering over 700,000 acres of land and sea. These parks span from Walker's Key, Grand Bahama, Abaco, New Providence, Andros, Exumas, Conception Island, Crooked Island, and Little and Great Inagua. While the government of the Bahamas provides considerable funding support for the national park system, the trust still needs additional funds to acquire more patrol boats, develop better facilities, create educational programs, and hire additional staff. The Bahamas National Trust must depend mainly on private donations to continue protecting these national treasures. If you wish to see these pristine parks treated with the respect and protection they deserve for your children and their children, then please support the Bahamas National Trust.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, residents encouraged to say no to an increase in electricity rates. A mother looking to spread awareness about child abuse. And it is official, face-to-face learning set to resume at public schools in January. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, Grand Bahama showing signs of economic recovery as the island city center is poised for a turnaround with a major investment. A major food store chain is projected to revitalize the downtown area within the coming months. Ramiko Knowles has the details.
Construction has begun at Solomon's new location in the downtown Freeport area, the location that previously housed Winn-Dixie. Company representatives say the new 20,000 square feet store will feature Solomon's neighborhood format and will add approximately 40 new jobs to the Freeport economy. AML Foods Limited announced back in July that it has signed a long-term lease. Secured for Uppert food stores is a key element in AML's expansion strategy that aims to drive group-wide sales to $250 million or more by 2030. Now, to open its newest location, AML invested some $3.5 million, which aligns with its lower capital investment goals. Officials say more than 80% of the work will be engaged by local contractors and artisans, adding that downtown location has been iconic for the Grand Bahama community in the past, and they expect that their investment will act as a catalyst for the revitalization of the area. The newest Solomon's location is expected to open in March of next year, and officials say priority will be given to Grand Bahamians for all job openings. Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
A local organization calling on the Grand Bahama Power Company to cease from imposing any additional increases in electricity rates on Grand Bahama. The group says Grand Bahama has endured many challenges over the past few years, including major hurricanes, and now is not the time to put any additional burden on residents. Italia Hall has more.
The Coalition of Concerned Citizens says enough is enough, and they're asking all Grand Bahamians to come together to put an end to the recent proposal by the Grand Bahama Power Company to increase the electricity rates. President of the coalition, Pastor Eddie Victor, claims that the company has reported to their stakeholders that they expect to receive an increase in electricity rates.
But how is this when the application is pending before the Regulatory Committee of the Grand Bahama Power Company, pending consultation with the public, the government of the Bahamas, the residents of the Bahamas, or Grand Bahama, the businesses on Grand Bahama, the hotel and tourist industry in Grand Bahama, all do not support the increase in the rates of electricity.
Victor says Emera results for the 2021 third quarter and 9 months to end September 2021 shows Grand Bahama Power contribution to its new income has risen significantly year after year. Member of the coalition, Pastor Margot Victor, telling the power company that they are not just in position to serve their stakeholders, but to serve the people of Grand Bahama and the community.
If people no longer can turn on their air conditioners, can no longer use their hot water heater, some do not even have power, then you are no longer solving the problem in this community. Supporting baseball teams and having employee Christmas parties, it's not enough. While the populace is slowly falling below substandard living.
Senator Kirkland Russell condemning the power company for the move and says this is the time for the Grand Bahama Port Authority, the regulators, to demonstrate their commitment to the people of Grand Bahama.
Grand Bahama has went through 3 solid years, and I could go back as far as Hurricane Francis and Jean and Wilma 2004, 2005. Then Hurricane Matthew in 2016. Grand Bahama has experienced some of the worst economy, joblessness, poverty, suffering that it has ever experienced in its history. This is absolutely not the time to even be discussing rate hike
Pastor Eddie Victor is asking Grand Bahamians to reach out to the GBPA and vote no to any increase in electricity rates.
At 350-9000 or email them at info@gbpa.com. Attention, regulator. Tell the regulator to vote no, vote no, vote no to any increase in the rates of electricity on Grand Bahama.
Now, the organization is inviting the public to attend a virtual town meeting on Tuesday, November 23rd at 7 p.m. via Zoom and Facebook Live. During that meeting, issues will be addressed relating to the rate application and how citizens can get involved. Additionally, the Grand Bahama Power Company has agreed to appear at the town meeting to present the details of their rate application. Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Now, the Grand Bahama Power Company is responding to those concerns. Director of Communications, Cleopatra Russell.
We are mandated by the Grand Bahama Port Authority and the regulatory framework that governs our utility company to file a rate adjustment every 3 years. This rate adjustment is our first adjustment since 2016. Our application requests that 42% of our customers will either experience a decrease or no impact to their power bills.
Russell says GBPC is cognizant of the challenges Grand Bahama residents are facing at this time.
While we know that it is never a good time for there to be a rate increase to our customers, we are very cognizant of the economic impact and how reliable power and the cost of the reliable power can impact an economy. This is why at Grand Bahama Power Company, the new rate adjustment encourages energy efficiency in our customers in alignment with the national energy policy. It is also why we have developed an economic development rate that encourages new investment to the island. We remain committed to seeing Grand Bahama flourish. We remain committed to helping our customers better manage their energy usage.
A local human rights activist is commending the Minister of Labor and Immigration tonight for his work as it relates to granting citizenship to persons that have been living in limbo in the country. In this report, the activist says that this Christ-like work is long overdue. Vice President of Rights Bahamas, Joseph Darville, commending the Minister of Labor and Immigration, the Honorable Keith Bell, for what he calls giving much-needed attention to those that have long been neglected.
It has been a tragedy of immense proportions as human beings have been in limbo, abandoned, frightened for years, literally decades. When persons' fundamental rights are thus abused, some recompense is in order. Persons for long years have and are still awaiting the official recognition of their legitimate right to citizenship. We are not talking about illegal aliens, but citizens with potential rights and privileges.
Darville says that he salutes the new minister for giving this matter rapid attention and for legitimizing these new citizens.
They are no longer in no man's land, but can now fearlessly have jobs, further their education, travel the world, and celebrate with tremendous joy. What a fearless coming home. Further, this conscientious minister has committed his officers to regularly, almost every week, to carry out a similar official bestowing of citizenship on many hundreds more. What an event to be celebrated, as these dear human beings can now enter the promised land and bring dignity to their beloved country.
Darville also noting the upgrades underway at the detention center in the nation's capital.
And I was so happy to see that, because that's been a crying shame. It's been despicable. At one point in time, they even housed women and children in there, but now they have what they call a safe house for the women and children. And so that is, again, I think, priority on his table, that he is going to expand that and put it in the livable condition, because those people cannot be living in a state like that. I mean, for whatever reason or however they got to the Bahamas, they have to be treated as dignified human beings.
Well, the fight continues to spread awareness about child abuse after 4-year-old Bella Walker was recently murdered in the nation's capital. A mother is leading the charge locally, forming Justice for Bella, GBI. She says this fight is near and dear to heart because her young son was also murdered 8 years ago. Renique Burrows says she knows all too well the emotional trauma Bella's family is experiencing as her young son was murdered at the hands of his father back in 2013. She says that is why, following the tragic death of baby Bella Smith, she sprung into action to form Justice for Bella, GBI, with the blessing of her father. Burrows shares what she hopes to accomplish with the support of the community.
I want them to have an open sex offenders registry, as in it is open to the public, that the public can see it. I also would like to require the government to have them not to be able to work in any community where kids are involved, there parks or schools, and if so, if they do live in that community, that the community members are aware. And I would love to be able to assist parents when we are told that these kids are in abusive situations, that we can apprehend them. Me being a mother that suffered who had to suffer this, and the ordeal is exactly the same. I'm not unfamiliar. Nothing about this case, only the quote-unquote molestation was not the factor in my son's case, but everything, the blood force trauma, the incident where the mother said she had fallen, my son's father told me the same thing. So everything, it opened up a wound that I thought had closing, but it's still fresh.
She shares that she has been friends with Bella's father for many years and that he is a loving father who only wanted to create a better life for his children. In the near future, she says, a march will be held.
I didn't want to do nothing without Bella's father's permission, and he has said we can do it as soon as he is in Freeport. He's not on the island at this time, but as soon as he's in Freeport, he wants to be a part of everything. You see, my relationship with Alex Drew, we knew each other from school, but I was there when Estonia was pregnant with Bella, and I remember when he said she had lived with him, but to my knowledge, I saw Dawn with a little girl. I did not know that was Alex's little girl until I saw her post him up, and he had her from a baby. He's an excellent father. I've never seen much young man took the initiative to take care of his daughter the way he did. You understand? And situation granted itself that, it's hard finding a job in Grandmama, so he went to the United States to seek employment for a better life to take care of Bella and her siblings.
Burrows says she wants to be a voice for the voiceless, especially children. But she hopes her organization can be a safe haven for women as well, or anyone suffering abuse.
There are many children who have been through this. I want them to believe that we care. I do care. And I am someone who knows how to feel for the mother that feels that she's afraid, for the young girl who's getting beaten, and as she's afraid to speak out and speak up. Baby girl, baby boy, you have a voice. There are people out here who are willing to help. It took me 8 years. When I say 8 years from my son, I try to always make people aware of my situation and let them understand how it affected me. But this situation awakened. I will not allow this to die down. And if we're doing the legal way of doing things, but if it has to be, if we have to march, if we have to sit in front of Parliament, I'm willing to do all of this. So these things, it won't be swept under the rug.
Referencing previous cases of child abuse and murder in the country, Public Relations Officer Sherelle Lockhart says that enough is enough, and there must be stricter penalties for offenders.
It is time that we have laws and penalties with teeth, with action on the books, a sex offender registry, and also for our laws to be fulfilled, completely fulfilled. We often hear about things not being the worst of the worst, and we can reference many instances like the Grand Bahama 5 boys that went missing, and you find that it's not considered the worst of the worst. So these offenders are allowed to be in Her Majesty's prison, to have 3 meals a day, to have maybe an hour to walk around the yard and so forth. But these children, their victims are gone. And it's time that we have a sex offenders registry that is armed with the penalties and guidelines needed for us to know who these perpetrators are. And it's also time for us to follow the laws on the books, and where it is such an egregious act, as I said, death, these persons, once found and proven guilty, for them to be put to death.
In other news, the Minister of Education and Technical and Vocational Training, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, announcing recently that public schools across the country will be returning face-to-face in January 2022. District Superintendent of Education for Grand Bahama, Bimini and the Keys, Ivan Butler, noting that this is welcome news for teachers, students and parents.
Parents have already called and expressed their appreciation, and so we look forward to January when our students will return to school. We will invite parents to check with their schools to find out if there's any concerns what students need. Again, anything such as uniforms or books, we're not putting any pressure on parents. We just want those children in school. We know our children want to be in school, our teachers are looking forward to our children being in school, and we want our kids in school.
And as to whether or not schools will be hybrid or fully face-to-face here on Grand Bahama, Butler is encouraging parents to reach out to their child's respective schools for more information regarding the model that will be used.
The hybrid model works specifically for our very large schools. We do have some schools with smaller populations, and we believe those populations will be able to go face-to-face, but that again will be on an individual basis. And so we are looking forward, just happy to know that our students will return to school in January, and that will be a very good time for us here in Grand Bahama.
Stay with us, there's more news right after this break.
Come on down now.
If you're tired of looking the same, yeah, you ain't got to complain, no. You know where to go and you know what to do. You can find it here. We got the best in men's world. Come on, let our friendly style flow. Hey, come on and shop. See what a spoiled man's got. Yeah, we got it all for you. Hey, come on and shop. See what a spoiled man's got. Yeah, we got it all for you. Hey, come on and shop. See what a spoiled man's got. Yeah, we got it all for you. Hey, come on and shop. See what a spoiled man's got. Yeah.
This and every Saturday, catch the blowout sale on items such as hardware, lawn and garden products, power tools, welding machines, and household items at Ruthnell Technical Institute. They're located in Hawksville next to Universal Household of Faith. Just phone them at 727-1274.
Hello, I'm Constable 3399 Alexander Williams of the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division, Grand Bahama. Did you know that in October 2019, amendments were made to the Road Traffic Act? These amendments included such offenses as driving without having in your possession your insurance certificate, which carries a fine of $200, driving while not having in your possession your driver's license, which carries a fine of $40, driving while using an electronic communication device, which carries a fine of $500, driving while having an open alcoholic beverage, which also carries a fine of $500. Road safety is all of our responsibility. Join us as we work together to create safer communities.
Easy
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Fitness Connection continuing its efforts to partner with the community to bring awareness to breast cancer and also to assist those who are in the fight. This year, they are raising funds through a fitness clothing line called the Rose Collection. Romiko Knowles has more.
With the recent launch of its ladies' clothing line, Fitness Chicks, the Fitness Connection has brought the Rose Collection to life.
The Rose Collection is named as such because it's a tribute to D'Amico and DeKel's mother, the late Rosina Nesbitt, who I'm sure a lot of people in the Grand Bahama community would remember as a amazing tower of a woman.
Operations Manager Alexandra Payleen says not only is the collection a tribute, but its creation is for a worthy cause.
What we also did to bring the charity aspect into the collection is we put out a call to the community to ask for nominations for women who are currently in the fight with breast cancer so that we can donate 100 of the proceeds from the collection directly to these women to assist with medical expenses or anything that they might need financial assistance with.
4 women were selected to receive financial aid, 2 residents of Nassau and 2 from Freeport.
Our 2 Freeport beneficiaries are Miss Jessica Butler and Miss Denise Martin. Both of them, as I said, are currently in the fight. Jessica herself is currently in chemo. She has stage 4 cancer. So basically what we want to do is, we've already sold all this, so amazing, and we're really appreciative, but we want to make a really sizable donation to these ladies.
Now the collection is available in small to large sizes. The operations manager says the aim is to sell 100%, as all proceeds collected will go to the 4 cancer patients.
So I just want to call on the community to please stop by the Fitness Connection, shop the collection, even if you don't necessarily want to wear the pieces. You know, they can be a great Christmas gift. We even have options where if you want to purchase the pieces and we do a giveaway to someone who would actually wear and appreciate the pieces, that's an option as well. We also have options for shipping and delivery to the Family Islands. So even if you're not located in Freeport or Nassau near a Fitness Connection location and you want to support the cause and donate to this cause, they can contact us and we'd be more than happy to assist.
Now, if you would like to assist in the charitable project, you can visit the store in the Raven Mall. Romiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
And now it is time for a check on sports with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to Sports. Well, sport is slowly regaining its form here on the island of Grand Bahama. In fact, the Grand Bahama Soccer Club is leading the charge. Soccer at the YMCA is back. President of the Grand Bahama Soccer Club and YMCA Program Coordinator, Mary Knowles, is on it.
We have about 75 kids out here on a Saturday morning with the YMCA program, which we facilitate. And then in the afternoons, 2 to 3, we have girls soccer. We're up to about 75 with the girls program as well.
The soccer program, which has been around for years now, has kids as young as 3 years old.
Our young girls, our 3 to 5 year olds, they're from 1 to 2. They're by themselves this year because of the lack of coaches. I have to coach in both age groups. So we have them 1 to 2 in the afternoon, and then we have the rest of the age groups 2 to 3. We've been doing COVID style, but hopefully the minister is getting ready, the Prime Minister, I think, to lift some of the regulations, so we may be playing more soccer-related games.
Not to be left out, boys soccer training is also in the works.
We also have a boys/men's program. Chris Wells is the head of the men and boys program. He's out here practicing Monday and Thursday, and that's going very, very well. He's done an excellent job with young boys and some men as well.
Switching gears now from the soccer field, 6'3" combo guard Brandon Meadows, a product of Abaco, is fine-tuning himself at the college level in his senior year at the University of Southwest after transferring from Eastern New Mexico University. In his first 3 games of the season, he registered 19 points against Wayland Baptist, then scored 18 against Texas Westland, then came back to score 22 points versus Mid-American Christian. On the year so far, he's averaging 19 points per game and 8 rebounds on 56% shooting from the field. The kid can play. And finally in sports, the San Francisco 49ers got a huge win against the LA Rams on Monday Night Football 31-10 behind a strong rushing game to improve to 4-5 on the year. Quarterback Jimmy G threw for 182 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interception. I know a lot of Bahamian fans is thrilled about that. And that's all I have for you in sports today. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Are you looking for good vibes? In search of great food? Buddy Bucket's Restaurant and Lounge in the R&B and C Plaza is the place where you call the shots. Telephone 828-9188. Head on over and enjoy.
Come on down to World's Wholesale on Queens Highway in the Bamboo East Complex, opposite Yeager Funeral Home, where we sell the highest quality hurricane impact windows, doors, metal roofs, and hurricane shutters at the best prices you can find. Visit our store Monday to Friday from the hours of 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. to see the quality of our products. Contact us today for a free estimate.
Are you tired, overweight, having trouble sticking to your health and fitness goals? Well, look no further. The Fitness Connection has teamed up with Z&S to bring you Health Bites. This and every Thursday, tune in, and we'll make sure you get on track and stay on track with your health and fitness goals. Tune in.
The Ministry of Health is working to ensure the safety of the Bahamian people. Help us minimize the risk that coronavirus poses to citizens, residents, and visitors by following these 5 easy steps. Step 1. Wet your hands with clean water, apply soap and lather for 20 seconds by rubbing them together. Include the top of your hands between your fingers and under your fingernails. Rinse your hands under clean water, then dry them with a paper towel or air dry them. Remember to wash your hands before and after eating, preparing a meal, changing a diaper, or caring for the sick, and always after using the bathroom, touching money, shaking hands, or taking out the trash. Step 2. Cough and sneeze in your elbow or upper sleeve, not in your hands, not in the air. Or you can cover your nose and mouth with a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Put your used tissue in the trash bin when you're finished. Remember to wash your hands with soap and clean water after you cough or sneeze. Also, remember never to spit on the ground, roads, or in open spaces. Step 3. Ensure that raw meat is properly handled and cooked thoroughly. Step 4. Avoid sharing drinking glasses, eating utensils like spoons and forks, or sharing personal items such as toothbrushes and towels. Germs can live on surfaces we touch, so wipe and disinfect surfaces where germs can live, and keep your surroundings clean. Step 5. Avoid close contact with anyone showing symptoms of respiratory illness, such as coughing or sneezing. Should you or anyone you know feel that you have been exposed to the coronavirus, contact the surveillance unit of the Ministry of Health immediately. To reach us, call 502-4776, 502-4790, or 502-4737. We want Bahamians and those that live with and visit us to remain safe from the coronavirus. To do this, we need the help of each and every one of you to follow the simple steps we have shared. Let's stay safe, Bahamas.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Stevie Burrows, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We thank you so much for your support. That's going to do it for us here in the North, but be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Megan Shepard. Have a wonderful evening.
Tonight, the National Report, no excuses. Here's what's behind that response from the National Security Minister. encouraging first quarter fiscal results. The COVID death count increases, and a top clergyman airs concerns on key issues. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Super Fast Internet for Less. Best rate, no debate. Sign up today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks so much for joining us. The issue of gender-based violence, still one of serious concern, particularly on the heels of a woman's near-death experience at the hands of her alleged boyfriend. It's an issue the National Security Minister weighed in on, deeming the incident inexcusable. Desmond Saunders starts us off tonight.
I'm not interested in any excuse about money problems, about the woman troubling you, about her rowing. You just walk away.
National Security Minister, the Honorable Wayne Monroe there, who condemns such acts of violence. This as an investigation continues into Monday's domestic violence dispute on Key West Street. The video of the incident going viral on social media. Now, while many limit domestic violence to either being physical or sexual, it also includes emotional, psychological, or financial abuse committed by a person against a spouse, partner, child, or any other person who is a member of the household or dependent. A $5,000 fine, a year in jail, or both can be levied to the perpetrator.
So we have to address ourselves, our behavior, because that's completely unacceptable. When I was raised that you didn't hit women. That's much more than hitting a woman. And so we have to address, again, as I say, the socialization of persons. We have to address the anger that seems to be rampant in this country. But that's completely unacceptable.
Government is not letting up on generating more awareness on this vexing issue. Minister of State for Social Services and Urban Development, Lisa Ramming, telling reporters that her ministry has noticed an uptick in domestic violence, particularly abuse against women.
The Gender and Family Affairs. This week, of course, we're starting our campaign as it relates to gender-based violence and the Stop Against Violence. And so I'm afraid don't know where to go. We'll be on the grounds to reach out to them so that they can know where to come and they can feel like somebody cares. And so this is an opportunity for our whole country, our nation, to stand together. And if we know that there's somebody being abused, whether it's a child, whether it's an adult, we're asking you to reach out.
She's now making this appeal.
If you know you're out there, you're being abused, you know someone who's being abused, we're telling you, seek help. Seek help, and we're asking persons to try to resolve conflicts in a much better way. And I know that revenge is always probably the sweetest thing for some people, but it's easy to get in trouble and it's certainly hard to get out. So we're advising persons, even the church, there's a clarion call for the church to even join hands with us.
Desmond Saunders, ZNS Network News.
Well, President of the Zonta Club of the Bahamas, Marissa Mason-Smith, also mincing no words when it comes to the attack of mother and a child in the Engliston community Monday afternoon this past weekend. And fresh on the heels of the Zonta Club, Mason-Smith making it clear that the organization stands against violence everywhere.
Fortunate whenever any incidences of violence occur. And we have to take responsibility as a people to say no to violence in all its forms and to encourage our parliamentarians to urgently put the necessary legislation and courts in place, a specialized court for sexual, domestic, and children abuse matters, where justice can be safely and swiftly achieved.
She insists Zontians strongly condemn the attack.
In the most strenuous of terms, the savage, unfeeling, unflagging abuse rooted against this mother and her child yesterday. To us, this abuse at will against women and children must stop. Behind all our tears, let's put some action. And so I had the opportunity to speak with the mother of the victim and express our sadness for this incident, and we promise to be close with her and to work with her in this during this difficult time.
Meantime, the Prime Minister's wife, Anne-Marie Davis, recently joined Zontians of New Providence and wife of former Prime Minister Patricia Minnis to launch their gender-based violence campaign under the theme Orange the World. Mrs. Davis at the time encouraged residents to be their brothers and sisters' keepers and protectors by looking for signs of abuse among neighbors and to work together to end violence against women and girls. The group tied symbolic orange ribbons on lampposts within the Angliston community this past Saturday. In related news, as planned, testing has started for the Marco's alert system to ensure its smooth implementation. The warning system, birthed in the wake of 11-year-old Marco Archer's tragic death, is similar to the Amber Alert in the United States, whereby authorities immediately issue notifications about missing children.
There was a technical test yesterday at Alive, which I understand was successful. I'm made to understand that there'll be a test again on Wednesday. I've received some contact from the office of the spouse who is driving me to drive them. And so we hope to meet with BTC this coming Thursday. BTC would point out that they have international connection through cable and wireless. It strikes me then that they would have resources to be able to put themselves in a position to test as Alive as tested. And once the full system is tested, then I would hope that we can roll it out in as short a time as possible.
Well, Alive representatives also admit the Marco's alert system must undergo several more tests before full deployment, so they anticipate a full test with the Ministry of National Security very soon. Alive CEO John Gomez committed his company's readiness to assist national security and social services officials with any efforts to help protect children. He says Alive is pleased with the system's performance thus far as they look forward to further testing in alternate environments. Alive's official rollout of the Marco Alert technology is expected within the next few weeks. Well, still ahead, government in clear view of the country's economic recovery and the Anglican head candid on national issues. We'll be back right after this.
And remember to tune in to the morning edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles at 2 p.m. You can then watch the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, at 6:30, and the National Report live at 7 p.m. All right here on the ZNS Network.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this process.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
KFC Saucy Wings gives you the choice. A precisely calculated chicken to sauce ratio for that perfect wing experience. Or a totally wild, completely coated sauce adventure that transcends traditional flavor boundaries. Whatever your choice, get sauced with KFC Saucy Wings for the perfect amount of flavor. Saucy Wings at KFC Nassau. So good.
Across the Bahamas, we're more connected than ever before as we upgrade and expand our network, elevating your connection with BTC Superfast Fiber Internet. More people can access the best high-speed internet on our upgraded all-fiber optic network, providing you with a better experience working remotely, learning virtually, accessing more from home, and connecting with more opportunities. Visit our website or any store to upgrade to our super-fast fiber internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
With BOV.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's.
McDonald's. I'm loving it.
The country's economic performance improves with first quarter fiscal results showing an accelerated pace of recovery. We have details tonight on the 2021-2022 Fiscal Snapshot.
The reopening of the economy has led to just what officials have long hoped and predicted. The fiscal deficit has narrowed from $345.1 million to $153.5 million. Good news, right? Preliminary data for the first quarter of the 2021-2022 fiscal year pointing to an improvement in revenue receipts as COVID restrictions decreased. A closer look shows that revenue totaled $572.8 million for the period under review. That's a whopping 90% improvement over where things stood the year prior. What's equally important, though, is that as revenue soared, expenditure continued due to ongoing support to various social assistance and employment support programs. Take, for instance, aggregate expenditure. Figures show that this grew by $80.2 million, or 12.4%, to $726.2 million. Officials are largely attributing that increased spending to compensate employees at $11.6 million, social assistance benefits at $1.9 million, pensions and gratuities at $4.5 million, public debt interest at $11.7 million, and subsidies at $18.3 million. What partly tempered expenditures were period-over-period reductions of $2.4 million for supplies and materials, $0.9 million in current transfers, and $3.8 million for capital transfers. Now, in terms of recurrent expenditure, there was a 13.3% increase to $663.6 million during the first 3 months of the current fiscal year. This as capital expenditure shot up by $2.2 million to $62.2 million, a 16.8% of the budget. Key capital expenses included $1 million in support for small and medium-sized enterprises, $7.6 million to continue recovery efforts from Hurricane Dorian, and $5.5 million for energy restoration and renewable energy. The Fiscal Snapshot further notes that while inflation remains relatively contained, it is projected to rise in the near term as global markets rebound.
Well, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirming this evening that a Bahamian shot in Sydney, Ohio, died this past Saturday. The victim has been identified as 21-year-old Clement J. Smith. According to Sydney police, investigations are ongoing into the incident, which occurred at a home. The ministry, in a brief release, extended sincere condolences to Smith's family and the Devil's Point community in Cat Island. Well, within the 1 week period of November 3rd and November 10th, there were 4 COVID deaths. The victims, a 74-year-old man from Eleuthera, 2 New Providence women ages 75 and 90 years, and another 90-year-old from Bimini. What we have now is a COVID death toll just one shy of 670, with now 68 deaths under investigation. November 15th accounting for 12 new confirmed cases, 7 of the sick on New Providence, 3 on Andros, and 2 on Grand Bahama. 6 men and 6 women make up the newly infected. Some 46 people are in hospital, 9 of them on the intensive care unit. Meantime, 12 people recovered on Monday. 242 RT-PCR tests were completed on Monday, 3 of them repeats. A night of vetting ends in citations for some revelers attending this past weekend's Carnival Bubble, the all-inclusive 4-day fetication playing out at Breezes Super Club's Cable Beach. National Security Minister, the Honorable Wayne Munro, confirming this morning that when some vehicles left the venue, patrons followed. And this led to police eventually issuing citations.
I cannot say what the citations were for. But I can say that the report is that all of the persons that were behind the vehicle were persons who had been in the bubble, so they were persons who were vaccinated, and there had been a test done at the site.
Monroe's cabinet colleague, Health Minister, the Honorable Michael Darville, acknowledges there are concerns with large gatherings.
Circumstances surrounding the bubble, but I'm informed that the individuals who were marching came out of the bubble and were not able to go back in, so it was not a part of the event. But again, we must be careful and we must be vigilant and to be able to ensure that the public health protocols are put in place.
Well, COVID-19, education and violence, all issues Anglican Bishop the Right Reverend Leish Boyd tackled head-on last evening during his charge to the opening of the 118th session of the Synod. Our Amajal Knowles reports from Christchurch Cathedral.
Parishioners gathering at Christchurch Cathedral last night for the opening of the 118th session of the Synod of the Diocese of the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands. The Synod, which serves as the legislative body of the dioceses, adopting rules, approving the budget, and electing diocesan committee members, as well as takes any other action necessary for the life and work of the dioceses. Serving as the celebrant for the Mass was the Right Reverend Leish Boyd, Bishop of the Dioceses of the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, who in his charge touched on a number of pressing national issues, most notably the COVID-19 pandemic, urging his parishioners to get vaccinated.
I challenge all Anglicans to lead the way in getting vaccinated, unless you have some special circumstance which prevents you. Following the protocols and now getting vaccinated are powerful ways of loving your neighbor, putting yourself in the safest position and ensuring that your neighbor can be as safe as he or she can be.
With both the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands having recently elected new governments, Bishop Boyd offering this piece of advice to the leaders of the respective countries.
Mr. Premier and Mr. Prime Minister, you each have a mammoth task before you, but rally your troops around you, pool your resources, work together across all lines, collaborate across all lines, and trust God. God will lead you into his paths.
With schools set to reopen for hybrid learning in January, Bishop Boyd expressed his concern about the challenges associated with virtual education throughout the pandemic, but offers a strong charge to parents to ensure that education is a priority.
The government nor the Ministry of Education is at fault when my child doesn't go to school. That's my responsibility. And so we have to say that in this real dilemma which education in our country faces, that the home and the parents have to own, in my view, most of the responsibility. In fact, this behavior on the part of parents and children is pure irresponsibility. This is sad, but it is true.
For ZNS Network News, I'm Amajal Knowles.
A new group of parliamentary representatives equals a newly elected Bahamas branch of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Women's Association. The association's chair is Her Excellency Leslie Miller Bryce, deputy chair is House Speaker the Honourable Patricia DeVoe, and secretary is Senator the Honourable Fianna Gardner. Founded in 1911, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association is one of the oldest established organizations in the Commonwealth, comprising of over 180 legislatures divided between 9 geographic regions of the Commonwealth. It offers a vast opportunity for parliamentarians and parliamentary staff to collaborate on issues of mutual interest and to share good practice. And still talking politics, the first of 3 expected nomination forms are in, officially kicking off the leadership race within the Free National Movement. Our Antoinette Smith was at the party's Mackey Street headquarters when candidate Kwesi Thompson made the submission.
It is my honor and it is my privilege to submit my nomination form.
And with that, Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, Kwesi Thompson, sealed the deal, becoming the first candidate on the register to vie for leadership of the Free National Movement. a move executed by F&M founding father Maurice Moore and co-signed by Lady Naomi Wallace Whitfield, widow of F&M founder Sir Cecil Wallace Whitfield. As for Thompson, he says quite simply, he's just ready to serve.
Politics is not about power, but politics is about service. I am moving forward to offer myself for this position, not because I want to attain a position, but because I want to make a difference.
Among Thompson's supporters, former parliamentarians Michael Folks and Carl Bethel, who says,
to stand his ground, to defend the record, first of all, of the minister administration, and secondly, to defend the legacy and heritage and principles of this party. He's a young man, in my view, born and bred into the F&M.
Of his promises, should he be elected to the post of leader, to rebuild the party and increase the number of women at the forefront of the F&M. His first order of the day, however, to restore unity within the opposition.
How will we unite our party? By going back to the principles and values that those same dissident day and the founding fathers formed this party for. We must go back to those principles. Those are the principles that will unite us.
On November 27th, Thompson will go head-to-head with Marco City MP Michael Pintard and Central Grand Bahama MP Iram Lewis. The choice here left in the hands of the party's delegates. Anthony Smith, ZNS Network News.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
As a professional graphic artist, I work from anywhere in the world. When I travel, I try to keep up with my paperwork and bills as much as possible, utilizing NIB's ESS, or Employee Self-Service Portal, to submit my monthly payments and to upload my contribution statement makes life easier. The portal is pretty easy to use too. I consider it to be user-friendly. It asks all the necessary questions to guide me through uploading my contribution statement, and I like that it calculates my payments. The NIB representative who showed me how to use the portal, she was patient, friendly, and knowledgeable. I used to fill out my contribution statement manually and visit an NIB office every month to make payments. But now the ESS portal allows for the entire process to be completed online in a time-efficient manner. Like, yay, thank you, that's done. You should sign up today at ess@nib-bahamas.com.
The past is what drives us, but it is no more. In it, we learn valuable lessons about where we came from. The future is what we aspire to, but it is yet to be written. Thinking about it allows us to plan for a better tomorrow. The present is the only thing we possess right now. It is the moment when we rise to the occasion, so that we stand in the beauty and wonder of who we are. Where our strength really matters, because our resilience speaks for itself. We plan for where we are today, a strong company, a powerful network, built by the people, for the people, because we believed in best, because we lived for the moments, and we delivered. You know what we were, and now you get to see who we are. We are alive.
Having a policy with Bahama Health is more than just health insurance. It's about feeling good knowing that your health and wellness is covered. It's about the confidence you feel knowing that your card is accepted by over 50 pharmacies and 400 local doctors. It's about peace of mind, knowing that when you travel, you have comprehensive coverage and our overseas partner is just a phone call away. It's about the security you feel, knowing that you're an important part of the family.
Join the family. When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
We elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, elevate.
Included in our series of smart solution bundles for our business customers is our 24-hour digital help desk. Yes, that's right. All day, all night, any hour of the day or night, we are here with all your smart business solutions.
We're so excited to just be able to offer something that just differentiates us from anything that you could find in market. Take, for instance, one of the solutions within our 6-pack Smart Solutions portfolio. That's right. Our Smart Solutions portfolio includes 6 different unique items that we know can cater to a small business operator. One of them, I'm absolutely crave, is the digital help desk. And what that is a 24/7 help desk that allows a lot of businesses to get the help that they need to just move everything online, whatever it is that they're doing for their business. So let's think about it in terms of a small business right now that wants to get on Facebook, wants to get on Instagram, wants to get that social presence, but have absolutely no idea what to do. You know, they're the brains and the genius in their business for their skill set. But when it comes to now the technology and getting online with that social concept, they have no clue. We're able to now take all of that skill set from our digital learning, our social media learning, and we're helping them 24/7. You can call us 302-7200, 302-7200, and say, I want the 24/7 digital help desk, and we can get your business on Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media you want, or even set up now your email listing so that you can now connect with your businesses your customers one-on-one.
Here's how to reach us, 302-7200. We're making smart business out of making yours easier. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corbell Pyfrom. Be well, and be back here next, BTC Connection.
COVID-19 attacked our personal and national psyche. We fought back. We adjusted our consciousness so that we could wrap our minds around the impossible and unbelievable things we were going through. But guess what? Nobody escaped. That means there was nobody who was too pretty, too cute, too important, too holy, or too rich to escape the mental trauma and battering of COVID-19. We can allow COVID-19 to destroy us or defeat us, or we can make a decision right now to act in a manner that supports wellness for ourselves and for the nation. So let's act to restore and sustain our personal sense of well-being and our national mental health status. We're all involved. It's that important.
Janae's Chesapeake Road Christmas Wonderland is open under the Big Tent. Get your Christmas trees in pink, frosted, green, or white in a variety of sizes. Musical Christmas LED and laser lights, a large variety of tree ornaments, lighted angels and Santa tree toppers, bright and lively colored Christmas balls in all sizes, garlands, wreaths, tree skirts, stockings, and lots more. Add flowers, picks, and decorative mesh to brighten up your home or office this holiday season. And don't forget the toys at Janae's Chesapeake Road. Check our selections online at www.janaes.com.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
The Court of Appeal has overturned the convictions and sentences of appellant Daniel Coakley and has ordered a retrial. Coakley and his 3 co-accused were convicted of the kidnapping, armed robbery, and murder of immigration officer Shane Gardner and his girlfriend Tiska Brennan back in December 2013. Gardner and Brennan's decomposed bodies were found on Newbold's farm in Fresh Creek, Andros. Both were killed execution style. Coakley initially appealed his convictions, but that was dismissed back in 2018, shortly after the appellate court allowed the appeals of his co-accused and quashed their convictions and sentences after finding that the presiding judge failed to thoroughly investigate an altercation that took place between the forewoman and alternate juror during the trial. Coakley appealed on similar grounds, and after hearing from both sides, the court agreed. The panel also ordered that he be retried at the same time as his 3 co-accused. If you're looking for an atypical gift this holiday, one that's bound to put a smile on the face of a Bahamian family, in walks your opportunity. AML Foods is extending a month-long invitation to its team members, corporate Bahamas, and customers to support its 6th annual Feed 5,000 holiday program. For its part, AML yesterday made an initial injection of $20,000. They're in turn asking that you purchase or donate towards the purchase of $40 Christmas dinner packages at any of their Fresh Market, Solomon's, or Cost-Right locations here in New Providence, Grand Bahama, or Exuma markets. To help distribute the funds, AML has teamed up with the Bahamas Feeding Network, Hands for Hunger, the Grand Bahama branch of the Red Cross, and the One Exuma Foundation. AML President and CEO Gavin Warchorn says since starting the program in 2016, the company's raised over $320,000 and donated more than 8,000 meals to help families in need. Well, what's the fall season without pumpkins? The thick-to-shelled winter squash that's synonymous with Thanksgiving. Well, 2 pumpkin producers shared with our caller Palmer their latest harvest.
As the Thanksgiving season fast approaches, Mrs. Rovina and husband Bishop Franklin Ferguson of Western New Providence are preparing for a bountiful Thanksgiving season.
I was farming all my life. I always had pigeon peas and cassavas, because they don't work you hard. I always grew some tomatoes and green corns. You know, I never expected. Back home in Exuma growing up, my grandparents, because I grew up with them, they grew pumpkins, but I've never seen that many. But this is the first time I really grew pumpkin, and I am shocked at what has happened.
The Fergusons are in awe of what they have been able to produce. Their green thumbs in overdrive since last year during the lockdowns with the COVID pandemic, as they showcase their pumpkins running wild on the vines. 19 pumpkins in all and counting, not only on the ground, but growing on the fence.
This pumpkin is getting big so quickly the weight might pull the vine down and might fall and crush on the walkway there. And so we got this idea of the onion bag to keep it up, keep the weight up. But I didn't expect it, all of this all over the place. I planted them down in the corner there up in this area, and it starts spreading. And so one day I said to my husband, I said, we better keep this back door closed, because when we wake up one morning, we can meet the pumpkins in the house.
Not only are the Fergusons looking forward to the pumpkin harvest, but their neighbors as well. Reportedly always blessed with the fruits of the Fergusons' labor from what has become the community's garden.
If anyone's going to take it, they can make use of it. I have no difficulty with that. We have a sea grape tree in our yard that's right on the corner. And, I always tell the neighbors, they can always come and pick the grapes, because we could never eat all of them as a family. So it's that kind of a neighborly spirit we want to keep developed in our communities so that we could indeed work together and grow together.
In fact, the Fergusons have gone one step further in the idea of an initiative that could be implemented in communities throughout the country towards a nation feeding itself.
This is just vacant property in the community that was blocking traffic, the view of traffic, and could be detrimental to persons traveling in this area. And so I just thought I'll have it cleared. But I thought of it after we have done that it makes sense to let something grow in it. And it's like having community spaces where things are growing. And in this case, we just planted watermelon seeds, and the watermelon seeds are growing, and the watermelons are looking very well. And I think this is a good thing that in all of our communities we can do. And we want it to grow so that we can demonstrate that in our nation we could really feed ourselves. One family at a time, we can feed ourselves if we all make the effort just to plant some seeds, put some seeds in the ground.
With 3 sets of pumpkin harvesting to do, the Fergusons have their work cut out, as Thanksgiving is but 2 weeks away. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
Well, Remembrance Day may bring to mind the efforts of those who fought and died for the country, but for one Bahamian family, it's also symbolic of true love. LaDon Davis has the story.
My aunt always tells me how reluctant my grandfather, E.P. Roberts, was to let his daughter, his oldest daughter, go to the war. When they came back to Jamaica, he went to Wilmer's in Jamaica and then eventually studied accounting and then joined the Army.
That's former politician, nation builder, and owner of Flororama, Neville Wisdom, reminiscing on his parents, Dorothy and Walter Wisdom's fight for our freedom in World War II. Wisdom says his parental unit's story and how they met and fell in love in the Army is a unique one that was also built on a strong family bond.
He was a member of the Signal Corps and did technological work in the Signal Corps. And he met my mom, who had volunteered from the Bahamas. She is one of the 11 women mentioned in Ruth Goodridge's book, The Brave 11. Luckily, she was able to make it back. She was a member of the ATS, and she was able to make it back to Nassau. But by the time that she came back, she was married, and my oldest brother, Jerry, was actually born in Jamaica as a result of that relationship.
Due to COVID-19 restrictions, Wisdom says his family was unable to remember his parents in a special way, but later shared the tale of how his family paid homage to these 2 brave soldiers.
When they came back to Nassau, they were both involved with the British Legion, and I can recall, every Remembrance Day, my parents would dress up in the uniforms, their old Army uniforms, and would attend the church service and would march from Blue Hill Road to the cenotaph, and the ceremony would take place there.
But that's not all, though. Wisdom says his father was not only a soldier, but someone who put service above self. In fact, he played a major role in the growth and developments at BTC and ZNS.
Batelco was then on East Street North, and he started at Batelco. Then when ZNS was formed, he started there at ZNS at that same building, and eventually he matriculated to become the general manager of ZNS. And I can recall him for years spending some time down in Grand Bahama as they set up ZNS radio in Grand Bahama.
Sadly, Walter and Dorothy Wisdom died right here in the Bahamas at the ages of 59 and 76. LaDon Davis, ZNS Network News.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Car insurance, home insurance, marine insurance, this insurance, that insurance. The truth is, you may not like it very much, but you need insurance, and it has to work for you. That's why Summit insurance policies are designed with you and your life in mind, fitting your lifestyle and needs perfectly. So you can rest comfortably knowing that your car, home, boat, and business are well taken care of. Contact our agents at Insurance Management today. Summit Insurance. We peak above all others.
Super value and quality supermarkets have all your favorite brands and no limits. Seabass tuna, VAT-free, 5-ounce, 2 for $1.90. Quaker grits, VAT-free, 5 pounds, $3.79. Rainbow evaporated milk, VAT-free, large, 2 for 99 cents. Robin Hood flour, VAT-free, 5.5 pounds, $3.99. 15 fat-free items in this week's specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Imagine what it would be like if there wasn't a referee. That's why we have a referee, to make sure that we all play fair. As an independent regulator, IRCA has been working with consumers and service providers since 2009 to ensure that the regulated sectors are well managed and that everyone's interests are fairly represented. That way, we all get to play on an even playing field. IRCA, improving lives through effective utilities regulation.
Member of Parliament for Exuma and Ragged Island, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honourable Chester Cooper, on Sunday attended the annual Remembrance Day church service in Exuma. The service adopting the theme, Lest We Forget. Exuma's clergy partnered with senior government and other island officials to honour the Bahamians who paid the ultimate sacrifice for country.
We give you thanks as we remember the men and women who have sacrificed their lives for our benefit. As we also reflect on your dear Son, Jesus Christ, his death and his resurrection, his sacrifice gave us the hope of eternal life. Help us to become more mindful of the bond that we unite as human beings and families, despite our differences.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makishla. We are under cloudy skies outside of our studios. The temperature at 77 degrees, relative humidity 69%. We have easterly winds at 13 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,019.4 millibars at 30.13 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the Green Key, Marsh Harbor, a little warmer at 73 degrees. The Berry Island 77. Alderstown, Bimini 78 degrees, 77 in Harbor Island. Rock Sound, Eleuthera 79, 78 in Black Point, Exuma, Kemps, Bay South Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. Alderstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rum Key all at 79. Georgetown, Exuma 81 degrees. 82s in Ragged Island, Clarence Sound, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Maguana 80, Acklands 80, Matthew Nago 82, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 83 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. For all areas tonight through tomorrow, the winds are going to be northeast to east, 15 to 20 knots, rough seas 4 to 7 feet. So caution flags are in place for the entire 700 islands of the Bahamas right through Wednesday. The low tide, that will take place around midnight with a high tide at 6:17 tomorrow morning. And then on Thursday, for all areas, the winds become easterly, maintaining at 15 to 20 knot speeds, and the wave heights continuing at 4 to 6 feet with caution flags in place. High tide 8:04 in the morning with a low tide at 2:21 in the afternoon. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Do you want to travel this holiday season? Don't want to miss out on those blockbuster deals? Well, have you gotten your COVID-19 vaccine yet? Time is running out to travel for the holidays, and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine may be just what you need. It's one and done. Just one jab of this vaccine, and 2 weeks later, you're fully vaccinated and ready to shop. Protect yourself and your loved ones this holiday season. Schedule your vaccine appointment now.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay. BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment. Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay. Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
These are the faces of a resiliency, of strength and survival. You know their success, but do you know their stories? Join us for season 3 of Journey TV, where they'll release exclusive details about their journeys with host Erlene Camille. Meet our team therapist, Padine.
Tune in every week right here on ZNS and
Continue to provide support to our clients through a number of initiatives. We provide weekly grocery support and hot meals. Our clients have access to counseling and a food and clothing bank, as well as assistance with clinic visits and medications. Access to our social worker enables clients to get support with job preparation, securing government documents, and negotiating the everyday trials of life. We're also committed to making sure our young people have academic support through the provision of laptops and school supplies, funds for school registration, and national examination fees. The Foundation is proud of our Solomon Wellington Adley Memorial Scholarship, which supports 2 university students. Our foundation and its volunteers work to positively impact the lives of our clients. It is important work that must continue. In order to continue our work, we need your support. You can support the Bahamas AIDS Foundation by visiting our website at www.bahamasaidsfoundation.org and selecting one of the methods for donating, and by participating in our awareness activities, especially as we approach World AIDS Day on December the 1st. I wish to thank all of our supporters and donors over the years. We cannot do what we do without the support of generous members of our community. Thank you.
Tune in Monday, November 22nd at 8 p.m. for Ed Table Talk Unplugged and hear about the Teacher Cadet program.
The Teacher Cadet program has been active on every family island in the country, from Grand Bahama and Abaco in the north to Inagua in the south. The program has played an active role in cultivating teachers from all of those islands for the schools on all of those islands.
This former Teacher Cadet now teaches high school.
Many people just think teaching is just going to the board and standing up and talking. And so I believe that because of the COVID-19 pandemic, it is showing people that it is not just standing up to the board, because we have no board now to stand up to. And so now I believe that the program has really shown me all of the different aspects versus standing up to the board and just speaking.
Join us at 8 p.m. Monday, November 22nd on this channel for Ed Table Talk Unplugged, produced by the Communications Section of the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training.
This portion of the news brought to you by Genuine Care, keeping you home while you're away. This is ZNS Total Sports.
The D-Squad Basketball Club is now dribbling on the international courts. This month, the local team will have scrimmages with high school coaches and participate in the AAUU Turkey Tourney in Florida this weekend. The trip, sponsored by Consolidated Water Bahamas Limited, will give players more exposure and assist with attracting scholarships. In thanking the sponsor, CV Bethel's principal and D-Squad Club Director Harcourt McCoy said the donation is a big help to parents during these tough economic times. Consolidated Water's General Manager Brian Russell underscored the impact the basketball club has had over its 17-year span in developing talent and character. He added that the company is proud to continue supporting the club's mission to foster discipline, hard work, and community spirit. The club plans to play local and at least 4 international tournaments throughout the year.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
Public service announcement is brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training in conjunction with this channel. Log on and stay on. As parents, we will not always be present while our children engage in online learning. Ensure that your child is getting the most from the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training's learning management system. Here are some tips to help you establish your child's online learning routine. Number 1, designate a workspace to reduce distraction. The bed is not recommended. Number 2, each morning ensure your child is alert and devices are ready to log on. Number 3, periodically check in on your child by calling, texting, or FaceTiming to ensure that they are participating in their online classes. Number 4, communicate with your child's teachers to stay updated on your child's progress and online attendance. Number 5, remember, it takes a village to raise a child, so you can create a WhatsApp or other social media group with parents to share relevant information pertaining to your child's online education. Education is important. Log on and stay on. This public service announcement was brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training in conjunction with this channel.
Nobody wants to get HIV, but if you do, it's not the end of the world. Being diagnosed early gives you a chance of living a long and healthy life. Testing is the only way to know for sure if you have HIV, and knowing your status means that you can protect yourself and your sexual partners. Getting an HIV test is quick, easy, free, and your results are 100% confidential. Get tested and know your status.
Journey TV opens its season with life coach Shakisha Johnson, who shares how she endured abuse and rejection before discovering identity. This discovery put her in the direct path of purpose. Learn how she uses her life experiences to empower and build women from all around the world. Tune in for this powerful story right here on ZNS. Journey TV, we share life's truths.
Saturday, November 13th. Look out for the sounds and colors of Junkanoo on the ZNS network. Catch the passion and the excitement of Junkanoo. Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. beginning November 13th on the ZNS television network. Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, satellite pictures showing a weak front boundary across the central Bahamas, but that's going to start working its way back towards the north as a warm front, and you will see an increase in shower activity, particularly during the late morning and early afternoon hours over the northwest Bahamas, and those showers will carry over right into Thursday. Meanwhile, there's a frontal system across the northern Florida area that will be pushing towards the south and east. We expect that to move into the northwest Bahamas on Saturday, and that will be followed by a second front on Tuesday of next week. That second front will certainly bring in a change in temperatures. Forecast for tonight, we are going in for mostly cloudy and breezy conditions, low temperature getting down to 74 degrees tonight. And then tomorrow, we're looking at cloudy with occasional showers and thunderstorms, particularly in the afternoon hours as that warm front makes its way towards the north. The high temperature tomorrow should get up to about 82 degrees. And your extended weather forecast, wet conditions off and on through Thursday. We'll have some showers on Friday morning, but that will taper off for the arrival of that frontal system, which comes in on Saturday. Also will bring with it some showers, but most importantly, we will see temperatures dropping into the low 80s during the daytime and then a secondary front will come through sometime on Tuesday, but this is when temperatures will drop, and you will see we'll get into the 60s by the middle part of next week. Makishla.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. And as we celebrate our 44th year of television broadcasting, it feels great to be your home. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
We've heard it over and over again. Hurricane preparation is key. But aside from making sure you have all the tangible items to get through the storm comfortably, paying attention to your kids, who in most cases don't have the same level of preparation experience, is also vital. Psychologist and CEO of Richardson Psychotherapeutic and Consultant Limited says that it is important to talk to children.
Children aren't really familiar, depending on their ages, of what it could entail and what they need to be prepared for. I wouldn't go off, or here's our food supply and why we might have to kind of ration for a few days, or here's our safety plan in case something happens to mommy or daddy. I think it's the parents' job to do this now ahead of time, as we are in the middle of the season, and we've known a few years ago we had a really bad hurricane, and we still have a lot of people suffering from the effects of post-traumatic stress disorder. And so we want to make sure that they are well equipped and informed.
And while it's good to be realistic with kids about the potential harm hurricanes can cause, maintaining composure and being kind and patient with them during the storm's passage will help in keeping them at ease.
Kids feed off of whatever their parents are engaging in. And so they want to make sure that they're trying to keep as calm as possible and realistic as well. So if they are afraid, they can have that conversation with their child, asking them how they're doing, reassuring them that they are doing their best job to keep them as safe as possible. And when necessary, just hold them if they can. Believe it or not, that physical touch goes a long way.
And if the trauma is intense, here's how you know when to seek additional help for your child.
If you notice your kid is reverting in a lot of behavior, that they may not want to eat the same way or sleep in their beds anymore, they always want that constant attention and contact, those are some signs to let you know that the things that you may be doing aren't working anymore, and say they may need some additional help.
Richardson also has advice for adults.
What I would tell them to do is have your coping mechanisms in place. If that is some deep breathing activity, if that is making sure you have your safety plan in place, believe it or not, preparation is key. We find that if people have a plan for what they're going to do when a storm comes or when a storm's approaching, that helps alleviate some anxiety, as well as you may want to reach out to your support team, find your safest place to be.
Crystal Darling, ZNS Digital Media.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Hello, I'm Warren Albury. Welcome to Ed Table Talk Unplugged. It's a show produced by the Communications Section of the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training. Here, we delve into issues of education featuring key persons and stakeholders. Here's my co-host, Denise Pratt.
Thanks, Warren. Well, since March 16, 2020, much of the world, including the Bahamas, has been in a lockdown as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This virus is still with us, and our children have borne the brunt of its effects due to lockdowns and a suspension of face-to-face instruction. For more than a year and a half now, a number of our children have not registered on the Ministry of Education's virtual school platform. Today, we will discuss how our students on one of our family islands are faring in this new dispensation. Well, joining us today to tell us are our District Superintendent for Andros and the Berry Islands, Jerome Forbes, along with Principal Lavon Nemore. Later, we will be joined by a teacher from the Huntley Christie High School in Andros, Ms. Shanique Hart.
Yes, but before we get into our discussion here, here's our newest team member from the communications section, Lisa Bullard, with information on schools in Andros and the Berry Islands.
Andros is the largest of all the islands within the archipelago of the Bahamas. The island is 104 miles long,